Hello, everybody. Welcome to Zelda Speedruns, broadcasting the Zelda 2 multi-category tournament 2023. We're at Swiss round 1 for today. It's Eunos versus Kelseeyy. Commentating for us is Lightning. Say hello, everybody.
Yo, what is up, everyone? This is our first race of the tournament. I'm so excited. They actually didn't even coin flip for this category or anything. They just agreed on it previously. I think most people are going to run this category for this round because it's like the most unique one. It's the newest category I think we've added to the category extensions. So we got number 1 seed versus Kelseeyy, number 9 seed. Seeding was determined by people's placements in like all the categories that are in the tournament. And Eunos, before the tournament started, went and did a sweep through every single category that's in this tournament and placed like top 5 in all of them except for all keys. He didn't do any all keys, so. And that was good enough to get first place in the seeding. Pretty good. Deserved it. That's a lot of work. Especially with RBO and stuff in there. Thankfully, he already had an any percent time. I think that's pretty huge. That's kind of an undertaking to learn. Even though it's like, if you didn't know the category very well, you could get like a 30-minute time. But he has a really competitive time in that category, so gave him like 90 plus points out of 100. Yeah, I think he got pretty much all 90s or more. I think all keys might be the only one that wasn't a 90 pointer. But if you didn't play one of the categories, you would get a 0 for that. So I had a 0 in the no scroll out category, which was a huge knock on my points. I only got like 900 something. He got over 1,000. And you can't see it, but Kelsey's got cats scrolling where her webcam usually is. So I get to look at cats. I'm sorry, you don't get to. And hopefully they have their, so this is New Game Plus. You have to have played the game and like made a save. You have to save over it. You have to hit start at the very end after the credits. Hopefully they have all the right stuff for 100%. Otherwise, they got to go the other way to grab it. So they need all the spells, all the sword text, which is up and down stab, and what's the other thing? Spell. Oh, and their levels. The levels aren't necessary, but obviously you want max levels just to get through faster. So if we're missing any of those, you got to go get them. The funny thing is they could be missing upstab and we could just never see them use upstab and we wouldn't really know. But I mean, you get it on the first playthrough. It's like not a big deal, honestly. Don't tell the other moderators that. Start the race in the race room. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the race room. All right, I'm starting it. 15 seconds on my side. On the restream side, gonna be a little slower. Yep, this is NG plus Hundo NMG. It's important to note that it's NMG. We won't be going into scroll lock. Okay, we got 30 seconds. Nice. Yeah, if it was not NMG, you could beat this category the same speed as New Game Plus any percent. Because like literally you can just take whatever things you want in there. So under 10 minutes it would be the potential for non-NMG. This one's going to be a little longer. I think I put the estimate to this around like 50 to 55 minutes or something. Record is 44 minutes. This one's a little easier than New Game Plus NMG, the regular New Game Plus category that's been ran for years. That category doesn't get any heart containers, and if you do get them, they're just out of your way and they're safeties. So it makes the end game pretty hard. It's also harder just because you have less magic containers on top of that. Because you have less magic containers in that category, you only get like 2 fairies maximum in Valley of Death. So we're gonna have 3 fairy casts in a row here, and then a little magic left over on top of that. A half a bar. But yeah, we gotta get that magic container first. It's just good to get it now because now we have more magic casts going through Death Mountain. You can cast Fairy twice with this amount of magic, and we also have the life spell, which they will be able to cast alongside like a jump or something like that. If you cast life though, you do not get Fairy. I think life is 50 magic here, and Fairy is 40. We have exactly 80 MP in our bars up there. So every bar is 16 magic to the game. Obviously there's no number, but... looks like neither player are gonna get the manipulation out of this cave. Oh my gosh. This Aikman is just following Kelseeyy to the right. That's so unlucky. Oh my god, it has a 50% chance to swoop to the right or the left, and it just kept going right on her. But yeah, neither player there's a manipulation you can do. If you play through that cave like frame perfectly, you'll get the same encounters coming out every time. You'll get like a fairy back spawn on that first one, which lets you get down towards the swamp a lot easier. Eunos did not need to go visit. Yeah. He was just playing 100% NMG recently, where you don't have fairy here. Just a little bit of a habit. Yeah, Eunos did not need to go to, what's it called? Bagoo's Woods over there. So that actually let Kelseeyy catch up a little bit. Kelseeyy gonna want to refill magic and get that life up just a little bit more, get the beams back. And yeah, you'll notice what Trail said, there is a trick coined Link Feet or Frosted Feet. Frosted Pairs came up with a setup. And you can pretty much screen wrap off that screen as Link if you just do some frame perfect inputs there. It's pretty similar to our Fairy Feet trick, where you get the fairy just like 1 pixel off screen. And then you hit the opposite direction to screen wrap. It's not actually a screen wrap, but for the sake of understanding, we're just going to call it that. Hey, you gotta say hi to Bagoo. It's not 100% if you don't say hi to... You gotta get all the NPC flags. That means we have to go talk to the guy that talks about error, and then get error to say a different hint or whatever. That would be a category. I'm sure that might exist in the future. There's like all signs categories in games like SM64. Talk to all the signs. But yeah, you'll notice at these levels and with downstab, they can kind of just cruise through Death Mountain. It's not very dangerous even in the dark. Life 8, you can take a lot of hits before you die. And even if you do die, like you have your full lives still, so. Not likely to game over with these stats. That's why this is a great category to learn Zelda 2 with. Just if you want to get going, you know. Obviously you'll learn a lot more by playing it in a non-New Game Plus format, but this will get you going on the route at least. And sometimes you just want to finish runs. You'll notice Kelseeyy getting hit by these bits in here, the red looking slimes. It's really hard to see them in the dark, and it's funny because RGB mod is a little bit pay to win in this game because you can see like the little critters moving their feet along the floor because their sprites sit like just barely below the ground. You can see their movement, like you can see the bots wiggling, you can see the Dairas moving, the red Dairas specifically. The orange ones you can see because they're lit up. You can see orange enemies really easily in the dark. But you'll notice that they are also just kind of aware of where enemies are in general. You know, you play this game enough, even though there's a lot of rooms here, it's pretty easy to remember where all the enemies are. Yeah, this is vanilla. This one is New Game Plus 100% NMG, a relatively new category. It allows gem duping. That means some of the palaces, we're going to get the items, and then we're going to just up and A out of there and not fight the boss and place the gem. We're going to go place a bunch of gems in P1, which funnily enough was found, that trick was found because of Randomizer. Dig Shake and Eunos Dig Shake was programming, Eunos was helping. And they found that when you placed a gem in up aid before the gem fully finished, and you hadn't grabbed the item in the palace yet, that the palace 1 wouldn't like break over, and 2, the gem wouldn't be placed in the statue, but it would be gone from Link's inventory. And I'm helping. Yeah, they coined it gem edging. That's their proper terminology for it. I'm sure if you go into Eunos' chat after this race at some point when he's streaming and ask about it, he'll be happy to tell you the story of how they found that. But it's been pretty cool. It's rerouted a lot of categories. New Game Plus Energy got rerouted and is much shorter now. Any percent energy is much shorter. NSL. Anything that has up and A is pretty much shorter. The only one is 100% energy. That one still requires all bosses. This is part of the rule set for that category. For the non-New Game Plus version. Just to annoy Attack 9 guy, yeah. You will see Attack 9, or actually you'll see Magic 9 leaving P5, and that's it. Palace 1 actually... No, Palace 1 you wouldn't be able to have time to take a level. The XP would not tick fast enough. You would be able to get the heart container out of P1 before the level up happens. This is actually a multi-category tournament, so this is part of the round 1 pool of categories. The categories available in round 1 are 100% all keys, New Game Plus NMG, and then New Game Plus 100% NMG. And the reason why you'll see a lot of players playing this category during this round, it's the only time it's available, I think. And it is a very, like, you don't need tons of practice, you can be relatively new, and you can get through this category. So that was the reasoning for putting it in round 1, to get, like, just get some people to join and not feel so overwhelmed by the amount of categories that Zelda 2 has. It's known for having a lot of categories. But round 2, you will see the introduction of 100% NMG, and it'll replace this one, which is a new game file, starting at 111. And the optimal route is still to go through Dark Death Mountain with 111. So you'll notice that Eunos just up-A'd at the glove here. It is just a couple seconds faster than doing an extra loop in P1 to go finish the gem in P2, but that would require you not getting hit at all. You'd have to have a really perfect P2 to the gem here. Otherwise, doing another loop in P1 is going to be faster. Which, for race purposes, you're just going to take the more consistent thing, which is doing another loop in P1. Kelseeyy taking some damage on that red IK. Is she gonna actually go through P2? Oh, she's using my route. I think she learned off my route. Kelseeyy taking the slightly harder route. Finishing P2 straight up. It's also more boring to go through P1 extra time, so that's my... that's how I convince myself I like to finish P2's gem. But they're both roughly about 2 minutes. Yeah, Eunos doesn't need that red jar, so it's okay that it's a red man. No big deal. Always man. Yoga. So the glitches and NMG that are allowed are also the same ones allowed in Rando, which is Fairy Feet. In any kind of exploit you can imagine that's in Rando, like, you know, ferrying through a door is an exploit, ferrying down a chimney. But those types of things are also allowed in like any other category unless it explicitly says like no door ferrying, or you need a key to ferry this door, like in all keys. So yeah, in that regard, it's the same rule set of Rando, if that's what you're used to on the Zelda restreams. But yeah, so what it bans, I'll say, is pretty much any form of like glitching, like heavy glitching. I'd say most of the things that are happening in NMG aren't really glitches, they're kind of just exploiting things in the game. But the glitches that are banned are like scroll lock, which is overloading the memory, which is using healer glitch to go to like an extra town and overloading the memory by entering the doors there. So no scroll lock, no healer glitch, no HUD ferrying, which is wrong warping to different rooms, which is you can do by ferrying in the HUD and then inputting any direction, or putting the A button or B button. Yeah, exactly, Irene. I thought door ferrying was intended behavior. Well, if it isn't, it's definitely an exploit, right? So who knows? Somebody call up Shiggy Miyamoto. Oh. Kelseeyy didn't want to continue stepping down into the graveyard because that was the timed encounter, and the next one was going to be a step-based encounter. By waiting for the timed encounter to come and hit her, she avoided taking an encounter in the desert or the graveyard, which I think people are typically afraid of because in non-New Game Plus, it's kind of a murder screen. There's eyeballs flying everywhere. If you get the heavy encounter, there's also red Dyra, and their axes can do like half your health. But we're in New Game Plus. Pretty much no random encounter is scary until you get to Valley of Death. And you'll see Eunos is placing the gem in P3. That is because from the raft that is required to get to the east, it's only like a minute and a half to get to this gem with a decent Reba fight. So it's a little faster than doing a P1 loop. I think like using a ROM is banned in general on the racetime.gg rules. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but it also you run into an issue where if you run that and you get a PB, it wouldn't be submittable to the leaderboard. So I think some people would, you know, it's like a dream. You get a PB in a race and you get to submit that. It's like more fun for them. But I personally wouldn't be opposed to it, but I believe it is in the rules that you cannot. In Racetime GG rules. It's not in like the rules of the tournament per se, but on Racetime GG it is. Because they follow SRC rules. But there is one case where a custom ROM is allowed, and that's for the horsehead % races, because one of our players made a ROM that shows how many frames it took you to beat horsehead. And that was because so many people finish at like similar times that they wanted a really quick way to frame count. So that's the only time a custom ROM is allowed in a race. Or for even the leaderboards, it's actually allowed on the category extensions for that one category. But yeah, I'd love to use a custom sprite, personally. I don't really care if I get a PB in one of these categories because like they're not super optimized yet. So it's like if I were to get a PB with a custom ROM, I could definitely just PB in vanilla later. Category's so new. So much potential. And Kelseey's got a raft, taking a Death Beast. That was a good Death Beast. Oh man, I haven't seen any of the newer stuff, but when I first played Rando like years ago, I think my favorite was Samus. The thing about the the sprites in general is if they don't match perfectly with Link, then it kind of throws me off personally because I use a lot of visual cues with Link and the floor tiles and stuff. So like using Samus is a little harder, but it's just like you're playing Randomizer, especially if it's casual. It's just so much more fun. But other than that, I like the Legend of Lady Link sprite. I used that for a long time when I was playing Rando, which is just literally Link with a ponytail pretty much and no hat. I think she doesn't have a hat. That one I like because it pretty much kept Link's like feet the same, you know, like you could kind of match where you were on the bricks the same as the original Link sprite. But yeah, I need to see more of these new sprites that have come about. I haven't been playing Rando for a few years, which is where a lot of them are obviously showcased. Oh, I don't know how Eunos killed that skeleton, just a weird jump. You can play as an Nehru, like a half-size Link. That's so funny. I know Dig Shake plays as the Skeleton Man. Oh, it's full-sized? Whoa, I gotta see this. Yeah, exactly. You would just have to learn so many new things. Back when I was playing, I didn't like play a lot outside of races, so... Big Snake. When's Solid Snake sprite? Alright, we got Kels going to get the boots. Eunos is going to P5. He's going to get the flute and then actually go beat Guma there, place the gem. And then he's actually going to go to the south and get a bunch of items, get the P6 item, and then heal up A, and then start doing his P1 loops. This category is pretty special in that way. You do the P1 loops way later. You know, even after entering P6, it just feels weird, because no other category goes into P6 and then up A's out of there. And then he'll have a very cool walk after the P1 loops, trying to get to the river monster from the west continent. And yeah, you'll notice they're still in 4 heart containers. The reason for this routing and doing P1 last and everything, if you were to do P1 earlier to get the candle and stuff, that means you would have to do a bunch of loops first. And that also means you have to end P1 with going and getting the heart container, which makes death abusing in this category a little slower. Because Life Aid is so powerful and a lot of the early enemies do such little damage. It's just quicker to leave those heart containers for the end of the game. Because you really only need these heart containers in the P6 area in Valley of Death. Or a Guma. Guma fight is another... Obviously P5 is a pretty damaging palace, but... You know, you have all your spells, you got life and shield and stuff. You would have to go gem edge somewhere else, or you would actually have to go place it depends, like if all the palaces have bricked over because you already got the items in them, yeah, you would have to actually go finish the other palaces. I'm not sure if you'd want to gem edge at that point or if you would just want to boss rush, you know? Anytime I've seen someone accidentally fully place the gem in P1 and forget to up A, they pretty much reset, so... We're just gonna hope that doesn't happen. Thankfully, gem edging is pretty easy. You just need to simply remember to do it. That is the hardest part, is just remembering to not let the gem hit the top. You got like a full second to hit the start button. When you pause the game, it'll stop the gem from moving. So like, as long as you pause, you can kind of up A pretty slowly after that. It looks like Kelseyy's going to P5. Kelseyy's not actually using splits. I think Eunos likes to use splits now for these types of categories because it reminds him of what to do. Oh, Eunos got to take a death here. Wonder what happened. I kind of missed it. Just ran out of magic for some reason. But Kelseyy's not running any splits. I wonder if she has some notes reminding her of what to do. Or if her memory's just that godlike. Alright, thanks, Trails. You plays Guma. Wait, I want to know what the River Devil looks like in a side-scroll screen. That sounds so funny. Derpy Barba, of course. Alright, so Eunos grabbing that item and not Death Abusing because the Death Abuse would probably be slower. He's got so much HP. And also, you know, just keep your extra life just in case something happens. Alright, confirmed Kelseyyy has upstab. I saw the upstab. It always cracks me up. A lot of times when people jump in this game, they hold the up button. It just reminds me of Karate Kid. I think that's the NES game where literally the jump button is just the up button, and it's like a platformer. But yo, if you got that habit, you can play Karate Kid. Or maybe that's because they're Karate Kid players at heart. Oh, upstab and blocks. See Kelseyyy using the upstab there to block blocks coming down. Oh, nice slink through that fire. Upstab is actually a pretty good... It's useful. A lot of people kind of just knock it because of how crazy downstab is, obviously, but upstab is really useful in these categories. Eunos just leaps into Guma's gut. Hovers on top of his spiky head for a little bit, gets the kill, one square of HP left, about 17 HP total. And we got a gem. Select your spell during the fanfare sound, because it won't waste any time. When that fanfare time ends, then you can move immediately out of it, so just do your menu during that. Why don't we randomize up and down stab? Like you get up stab at the down stab house, or just like an actual item that signifies down stab. That'd be kind of funny. In the practice ROM, sometimes the heart containers or magic containers, they'll look like pieces of Link. Like they'll get mixed. I think it depends on where you do it. It depends on like what part of the map you're in for the bank. If you summon a heart container in certain spots, it'll be literally like the top half of Link. It'll be like his head and half of his chest. Alright, so Eunos did the traditional river monster skip there called the river dance, where you come from the heart container to go. I think he got a bit unlucky there. Now he's trying for some link feet on these fences, and if he doesn't get the right pixel, he'll just cast fairy and fairy feet out of it. Because we only have 7 magic containers, you only get access to 2 fairy casts right now. We need a third, or we need our last magic container to do 3 fairy casts. I mean, if he had nailed Fairy Feet immediately in 2 of those and then tried to link, or if he had gotten the enemy skip on the first one and then link feet, or Fairy Feet of the next 2, it would have been really fast, but Eunos, I think, just likes to also have fun with the link feet and save the magic casts. But there can be some strategy involved in using link feet over using your magic in case you want to use it for a safety. In a room like this, if he had the fairy spell, he could just fairy right over these Tektites that you can't see in the dark. There are 3 Tektites in that room. You can kill them with fire, or you can use jump to get over them. If he had saved a fairy cast, obviously that would have been perfect. Go through there without getting knocked around. And now we are going to get the magic container and the key. We already have the spell from our previous file. Kelseeyy doing the jump strats. This is actually really old school. I think a lot of people in their heads, they all together thought like, oh yeah, jump spell makes this fight more safe. Because I swear it was like a thing in the early 2010s whenever I watched someone play this casually. But it was never like a strategy that was written. I think people just kind of did it. In my opinion, I think jump is makes it harder. It's like harder to get your hits in, and then like you still got a time getting out of there. It only gives you like a few more pixels of safety in terms of like your reaction timing to jumping away from the Morning Star. But I just think it's a funny thing, like everyone had the collective thought like, yeah, jump is good for Guma. Maybe it was in Nintendo Power, I don't know. I wasn't alive for that. I look forward to upstepping on screen repeatedly for Krista someday. Invisible Link. Ghost Link. Alright, Kelseey's got the back spawn, so she can at least get into here for free. She might ferry the next two fences. You, obviously, like I said before, you only get 2 fairy casts, so she might walk this one and ferry the next 2, because you'll notice you have to like kind of like turn around and dodge those balls. I'm not sure Kelseeyy really does fairy feet. Oh, she's just saving magic. Let's go. We'll see if she spends any magic. I mean, if she doesn't have to get a magic refill. Which, I mean, getting the magic refills faster than walking through all these, but it's also more boring. Eunos got to go a little late. I just went a little early on that. When he paused on that encounter that was surrounding him, basically he needed to wait like another 5 frames, maybe just a hair less than that, and then go down to slink that encounter. It's really awkward when you pause a little too early though, and it's hard to control that as well. But he tried to just time it and was just barely too early. Looking at his notes, got a red jar too. Oh yeah, for sure, Trails. But the thing that I say is that it puts you in the fight longer. And I feel like because you can't like, you know, do the quick jumps where like you stab and then you jump, crouch, stab again towards him and get the stab in. Because you're in the fight for longer, there's just more margin for error and stuff. But, you know, if you're practiced at anything, you'll be good at it, so. Yeah, optimally, I guess this run could be more difficult because maybe you don't have a fairy cast for one of the screens and you would have to link feed it during the Valley of Death. And the link feed from the right side is way more precise. So it could be more difficult in that regard, but if you aren't really doing crazy stuff like link feed and whatnot, then this is like the easiest version of Valley of Death. Since you have the Life 8 versus all keys, plus all the other things that all keys has. But New Game Plus NMG, that is pretty tough at the end game. Oh, nice Kelseeyy getting the hover key. Jumping on there, floating in the air. There's Eunos' last item that he has to collect from in the east. Now we're gonna get our last 3 things here in the west, which are 2 heart containers and the candle. Do not forget the P2 heart. There's a heart to the east of Medora Swamp, which is where P2 is. Alright, Kel's going back through the dark Tektite cave. Gonna go get her Frost from P6 in the heart container. And yeah, confirmed, Eunos only needs 2 more heart containers and a candle. If you notice you only have 5 or 4 heart containers here, you have made a mistake. If you have 6, all good. Also getting beat up by these invisible Tektites, but that's fine because we're going to get a heart container. So the damage you take there, not a big deal. So this palace we cannot death abuse in because it would just be way too slow. Obviously the most damaging enemy here besides Horsehead is like a orange iron knuckle and the Goomas, the jumping hammer bro guys. And they do very little damage. I think like half a bar at this life level. So when he gets the candle on his 4th loop, he is not going to death abuse. He's just going to run the fairy back through the screen. Lose those 3 seconds, but obviously death abuse would take more than 3 seconds, so. Nice, ducking under the hammer there, unlocks the door. So next time there's going to be no doors to unlock. A dancing bear, I can see that. Gooma sits on the flute. Two quick hits to kill Horsehead at attack 8. Same with Helmet Head is also 2 hits. Same with Rebo. The horse is 2 hits and then the Rebo itself is 2 hits. The blue iron knuckle guy. Karok, still a full 8 hits. I think that's how many Karok is usually. 8, no matter what the attack level. They did start at max level. Max level, down and up stab, all spells. Just gotta go get the items and place the gems. The sub 2 minute, yeah. They should always be sub 2 minute, like 1:59 or so. Even faster in this category because you're not faring through a door, you have max momentum going through. Kelseeyy exiting North Palace to the right, losing 5 frames. Can't believe it. That was also a fairy spawn there. That means there was some more frames lost on top of the 5 frames. Usually it's a large encounter that comes at your face if you go out to the right. Don't worry about that phrasing. Alright, Eunos got a split for every single loop here, so he doesn't forget how many he's done. Got 2 more. The last one including Candle. Both players in P1. Who's on what loop? I don't know. This is, like I said earlier, this is why I placed the gem in P2. You do 1 less gray palace. Kelseeyy gets to do 1 last loop. She did place the gem in P2. Placing the gem in P4 is actually... it can be as fast as a P1 dupe. but because the boss there is like RNG dependent, Karok, you know, the wizard that you have to hit 8 times with his own beams, because that fight can go very slowly, it is not really optimal, and I think even a really good fight is still like the same speed, if not slower than a P1. You'd have to have like a perfect fight to get a sub 159 P4 gem place. But that is another palace you could do if you were just feeling it. What's the Z2R Babies tournament? Is that just standard rando? Yep, gem duping is allowed in NMG. Oh, it's for new runners only. Oh, that's really cool. Alright, Eunos, don't forget the candle. Since Kelseeyy doesn't have splits, I wonder if she has anything like on her desk to signify how many loops she's done. You know, like put pens in one side of your desk. So I don't know about you, but doing P1 over and over, I lose concentration. I'm like on my phone, I'm watching a stream. Usually. That's also a nice reason to put off your P1 loops for late in the category, because if your run sucks and you want to reset, at least you didn't do all those P1 loops. So if you're like +2 before the P1 loops, you're like, yeah, I'll just reset this. Keep the fun parts for the beginning. Yeah, I guess like obviously people have ways of describing what tricks are. I think the gem edging is more of an exploit. Just exploiting the fact that there's 2 flags, one touching the bottom where the gem leaves your inventory, and 2, the second flag being the gem has to reach the top to actually be placed in the palace for it to be completed. So it's not like you're really changing memory or anything, or overflowing memory, getting a glitchy effect. Stuff like that. It's been attempted to have been removed in Z2R. Oh, are you saying gem duping is like allowed in rando? Or are you saying that he like tried to remove it, like from physically even working? Oh, it was gone. Interesting. He patched the game. The Miyamoto we don't deserve. They do call him Dig Shape Miyamoto. Also getting the candle. I hope this is the last loop. I wasn't really counting. Yeah, that's what I thought, Mirai. Oh, it just removed the placing of the gems. I think I understand. Oh yeah, I think it would go against it too. It is funny that it was found in Rando. Rando helped, you know. Helped find a new trick in the year of 2020? 2021? Man, it was very recent. Such a huge exploit. All right, Eunos has everything. We're going to Thunderbird, Great Palace. And I really hope this is the last gem Kelseeyy has to place. Because I wasn't paying attention to how many loops she was on. Oh, that's a cool way to fix that. Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. I know, all these runners, they want jet seeds, they want a gem dupe, I can't believe it. Speedrunners these days. Ooh, that's a undodgeable encounter right there for Eunos. Encounter was way too close. Oh, he had the pixel. Alright, Kelseeyy is going to just ferry the screen. Yeah. We're not getting knocked in water. Lava water. It's really hot water. That's why you die. Attack 9! Oh my god, we did see an attack 9. Last heart container. I'm gonna see, or second to last. Don't forget the P2 heart, Kels. Okay, she has 0 gems. We're all good. Just gotta get this heart container used to Maduro. And we're all good. Don't forget P2 heart, Kelseeyy. This is a new meme because Eunos in a PB attempt forgot to get the P2 heart. She didn't forget. Oh my god. It's 100%. And so his most recent 100% NMG run, he plastered all over the description, don't forget P2 heart. Ooh, into the lava. We got max lives, all good. Yeah, exactly, Aaron. New Game Plus NMG has a harder endgame for sure. Going into the screen, we're fairy feeting. 1 frame taps, get off the edge of the screen there, hit the opposite direction. Get the wrong exit on that screen. Yeah, this is arguably the easiest end to a non-glitched version. Obviously in glitched categories you can skip Valley Death. In percent MG, I mean, since you have fairy feed, it's actually kind of easy. If you're fairy feeding, it's easy. If you're not fairy feeding, it is kind of hard. But obviously, any percent deathless is going to have the hardest end game because you cannot die, you cannot fairy feed. I think that just kind of paints a picture in itself. It's also in the dark. We're up bang in GP. We got full lives in resources. I know, it's like every palace is GP. Why didn't they just do that in the base game? I personally don't care. I never had an issue with that, but I'm a go with the flow kind of person. I'm just like, this is how the game is. I guess they want to start me at North Palace after dying in P2 for the 4th time. I played this game as a little kid, so it's like, when you're 5 years old, it's harder to form an opinion. Especially when you haven't played Zelda 1, where they did restart you at the start of the dungeon. That option is just like nodding your head if you only played Z2 as a 5-year-old. But yeah, there are some Redux versions of this. Obviously, they're ROM hacks in a way that allow you to spawn at the start of the dungeons. Obviously, like Randomizer. Randomizer uses that same feature. That is a very good quality of life update. Kelseeyy doing stabs. That means these encounters are going to home in on her so she can get this encounter skip. Boom. If she didn't do those stabs, they would random walk around. By waiting in the screen, you delay enough that it changes the RNG of how the encounters in the overworld works. Ooh, nice bounce. Kelseey's on pretty good pace for what may be a PB. He's in the low 50s pace. and Eunos on high 40s pace. Already a couple minutes into the palace. Only about 3 minutes left to go. Yeah, back when I was a little kid, Lost, I had to leave the NES on for a full week so that we could stay in Great Palace without having to go through the Valley of Death again, because, you know, a lot of people collected all the 1-ups right before going to Valley of Death so they could get through it easily. More easily. Not actually easily. So my sister and I just left the NES on once we got the Great Palace, so it would just always spawn us there. Up A. Oh, downstab him, yeah. That blue knight sucks. Talking about satisfying things in Zelda 2, killing those blue knights. Kelsey's about to kill Spicy Chicken with the downstab, nice. Last Spicy Chicken for Eunos. Probably gonna go. Oh, taking another hit doesn't really matter. HP's already too low for it to matter, I think. Maybe it does. Life 8. You're pretty tanky. Maybe he can only take 1 hit now and could have taken 2 hits from T-Bird before this. But you'll notice no death abuse here. Just go take the fight. It's more fun. You have all your magic. You don't need health. Just don't get hit. Kelseeyy just murdering Spicy Chickens. Jeez. Oh, Eunos got it. That's the quick kill. Pretty much the way that quick kill works, since T-Bird is 8 hits. You get 2 hits on the starter, then you wait for T-Bird to come down a bit, and then you start from the right side of that platform, get your next 2 hits, go to the left side of the platform, jump and get 4 hits. While T-Bird is going up, since she's going up with you, you can connect a lot of hits on your jump. Pretty nice. Yeah, the starter, you can go for a triple hit combo, but you run the risk of getting hit out of your first hit, so then you can end up with only 1 hit. So a little bit of risk to that. And there's Eunos. Let's see what the official time is for that. 48-44. 48-41 on the splits. Pretty good. GG. First tournament win of the season. Another player in this tournament cantaloupe me because we have an odd number of entrants. He got a bye in the first round, and then there will be some more byes going throughout the rest of the Swiss rounds. Second round is going to be Eon's bye. Second round will be my bye, and then the first round will be Eunos' bye. So Cantaloupe Me is already 1-0, and here's Eunos' official 1-0. Yeah, Thunderbird is a very incredible endgame boss. I think it's like one of the best bosses on the NES, and then thankfully it's at the end of this game, so it's pretty epic to have to fight that at the end. So many different ways to fight Thunderbird, depending on your magic. Really good fight. And Eunos was showcasing the perfect fight, obviously. Jeej. Morning, Eunos. Eunos has a funky headset.
Okay, I can hear you.
Nice. I already knew.
All right. Let's talk about Z2R like the whole time.
I know, right?
Seriously.
I think I brought up that gem duping was found by you and Digshake in Z2R.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was kind of part of what fueled the start of that, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. That is true. We were like last day, like Dig Shake's like trying to crank out like one last idea, and it was the idea that I pitched him was, why don't you unlock the crystal cutscene so that we don't have to sit there for something, like for that 2 seconds or whatever that it plays the fanfare. And that's what broke the game, because when we did that, he was testing it and he had dash on and he just ran off the screen. And he's like, it used my gem, but I can keep placing another one. And I'm like, you didn't change anything though. Like, you didn't change how it works. Like, in theory, this should work in vanilla. I'll go test it real quick. And like came back like, yeah, dude, we found something.
Yeah, such a simple thing. And it's funny that we just kind of, maybe it was known before this by like Dig Shake, but we kind of just realized that if you grab the item, like the candle, and then go gem dupe, quote unquote, like you update before the gem fully places, it'll still block out the palace.
Yeah, which is weird. Dig Shake almost certainly had to have run into that during playtest, like during like not even like people playtesting, like just himself.
Yeah,
I imagine he did, and it's just something that didn't even get documented. Like he's probably said it once, like, "Oh, it does that. Okay, we'll fix it."
Yeah, so that means there's like several flags that occur in just like 1 second. Kind of interesting. All right, Kelseeyy is putting her 3 last hits on Dark Link here. And this might be her submission to the leaderboard. I don't think she has a time on the leaderboard yet.
Nice.
Pretty 28.
That's pretty decent first time.
I know.
If indeed, or any, honestly, I mean, you haven't run these alt categories and the route elements. That's pretty good. That's solid.
I agree. She actually finished P2. I think she just looked at my run last night or so. And in my run, I run through P2.
Right. Yeah, probably. Uh-oh, I might have lost you. Hold on.
Ah! GG's, Kels.
Nice.
You back?
Yeah, I'm back. I was telling, I don't know how it was brought up, but I was telling my wife, it was tangential to something not speedrunning, but that it wouldn't matter how bad a speedrun strat is, if I do it in the world record, people will do it and continue to do it until somebody's like, wait a minute, I'm going to try to do something better.
Yeah.
But literally like 90% of people will just copy whatever is in the world record without thinking about it.
Yep.
At least.
I've been aware of that for a long time. And
Yeah.
that's why in Signalis, I refused to like look at the record while I was routing the game and stuff. You know, you obviously you're going to go watch the record later and make sure you've got all the optimizations, but if you can run through it on your own without any outside knowledge, you might find something, a habit that you wouldn't have had otherwise that can lead you to better strategies, lich hunting, stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So don't follow in my footsteps until you you put a few hours into it. Because yeah, P2, you know, you get hit once, it's a little slower. I like to argue, I just don't like seeing P1 in extra time. That's really...
That's a really cromulent argument, honestly.
It's like 90% of the reason. But also it's cool if I go through P2 hit list, that's just cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Save like a second, and it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree
Kelseeyy
too.
has been having pictures of her cat on like a scroll. It scrolls like every second.
Oh.
The stream can't see it, but
That's awesome.
yeah.
I'd have to like sort through my pictures to make sure there isn't like like nudity with the cat. Like, you know, somebody's sleeping on the couch and there might be like a boobie popped out with a cat by it. Like,
Candid
just,
photos.
like,
yeah.
yeah, just like right in front, right with all the other pictures. That'd be really whoops.
Looks like Kelseeyy is peacing out. No mic
Yeah.
setup. Kelseeyy has been having computer issues, so I don't blame her.
Peacing out. Peace out. Your race is in less than 2 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's 8 o'clock there, right? So 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, Justin PRZ are on that one.
Yep. I believe
Cool.
so. PRZ just volunteered like an hour ago. Yeah, that'll be cool. I don't think I ran out of things to talk about, but obviously we got onto Z2R, so maybe we did. I think that covered me a little bit, but you know, every segment I had something to say about what was going on.
Don't worry, we've got 3 more probably NG100 NMG races this week alone.
Yeah, that's probably what mine is too.
Yeah.
Just made the file for that yesterday on my vanilla cart.
I think I would have enjoyed all keys probably the most out of these categories. I just refuse to allow the first run of this multi-category tournament to be all keys.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Couldn't do it. And I'm with, like, I don't know, Meg said, like, I'm banning all keys every time. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just let my opponent choose until I get to someone like that I feel is like super strong in like certain categories, and then
like,
I'll be like,
confident
okay,
in the categories that are available, and like then it actually becomes like, you know, yeah.
Otherwise, I'll just let them play what they're comfortable with, because that just makes a better race. So
yeah.
There is another restream in 2 hours on this channel. It may not be, no promises, but that is what is on the docket. Yeah, thanks Eunos and Kels. That was a great race. That was fun. I think that was a good kickoff.
Okay, yep. Got it started.
Yep. So thanks for hanging out and watching, everyone. Yeah, tune back in 2 hours. Thanks to restreamers. We had Ricky come in last minute to set up the race room, or set up to the restream, sorry. And then Lost was kind of just like hovering, make sure nothing was going wrong. So thank our restreamers. Follow Eunos XX. He's in chat right now. Find Kelseeyy in the race room. I don't think I can grab her stream. Her stream. There it is. Perfect. It has like 2 E's, 2 Y's. I always forget what it is. And then, yeah, there is another race besides the multi-category one. There's actually a Z2R race in the middle of that, if you want to check that out, at 9 p.m. Eastern. Should be 1 hour from now. And yeah, thanks again. Appreciate ZSR and all that. So peace out, everyone.